Hi, my name is Jordan Kurth, and I'm happy to have the opportunity to talk to you today about an article that I, along with some other researchers from Purdue University, published in the International Journal of Sport and Exercise Psychology recently, titled "The Factors Impacting the Anticipated Pleasure of Potential Physical Activity Experiences, a Conjoint Investigation Across Involvement Segments." So this project, and really all of my research, examines this idea of physical activity being something that everyone knows is good for you, that we hear over and over again in the media, that it should help you to feel better. However, so few people do it. And that sort of disconnect is really where I'm interested in studying and what this project is about. So what we did is we took 18 different physical activities. So we described them using three different factors, those being the intensity of the activity, so low, moderate, or high intensity activity, where the activity was done, so the physical location, either indoors at a fitness facility, a gym, indoors at home or outdoors, and who the activity was done with. So was it done alone, with family or close friends, or as a part of a larger group? So we took those three different factors, each of them having three different levels, and we effectively mixed them up. So every single person saw every possible combination of those factors. And what we asked them was, how pleasant do you think this physical activity would be? We know from previous research that emotions drive a large portion of human decision-making in general, but particularly in exercise and physical activity. Deciding whether or not to do the activity in the first place is dependent on how you think it's going to make you feel, whether you continue to do that activity over time, which is so important for physical activity, also depends on how the activity makes you feel. So we targeted this as our sort of way to rate each physical activity. So again, we had 18 of them total. Every single person saw every possible combination, and they rated on a scale from negative 100 to 100, with 0 being in the middle, neutral, how pleasant they thought that activity would be to complete. This was done during COVID, so it was done fully remotely. These people did not have to do any exercise themselves, which allows us to reach more people, right? If you think about physical activity research and you say, okay, you have to come in for 30 minutes and perform this exercise, and then we're going to ask you how it feels, you're going to lose a lot of people who aren't willing to come in to do any exercise whatsoever. So we get better information, more representative information when we don't actually require them to do a physical activity, but just ask them about how it would feel. So we had 871 people in total who participated in the study across 3 states in the United States, three local states close to each other. And what we found for the whole group was not terribly surprising. So people figured, they anticipated that light intensity activity would be the most pleasant, that doing it at outdoors as opposed to indoors would be most pleasant, and that doing it either alone or with a close group of family or friends would be more pleasant than doing it with an actual group, a larger sort of exercise class group. Again, not terribly surprising, but what was surprising, and what I think is the most interesting finding from this, is that for people who are not experienced exercisers, so they're new to exercise. And when I think of these people, I think of the people who we are trying to help as physical educators, as health practitioners, the people who most often are targets for help, found vigorous intensity activity they thought it would be unpleasant, displeasurable. They thought exercising in a gym, in a fitness facility, would be unpleasant, and also with a group being unpleasant. These are things that we don't usually see in research. It's hard for someone to look at a description and say, I'm going to go negative on this. I think this would be a negative experience. It might be less positive more commonly, but for these people to say that experience would be negative is a really strong statement. And an interesting finding, particularly when we think about how most exercise classes, most exercise interventions are structured. They're generally with a group, at a gym, group fitness in some way, shape, or form. And for people who haven't exercised very much, it's very difficult for them to regulate their intensity. So oftentimes we can get into that vigorous intensity activity. Again, they're performing it in a group at a gym, and it's very unpleasant. And that, I think anyway, is one reason that can explain why so many people don't stick with the activity after they begin it. So that's a brief summary of what we did. I am always happy to talk about my research or to answer any questions or explain anything further. You can feel free to contact me. I am on Twitter at JORDANDKURTHPHD is my Twitter handle, or jkurth, JKURTH, at pennstatehealth.psu.edu. Thank you very much.